Cooperative Governance Minister Thembi Nkadimeng says infighting is making councils dysfunctional. The Auditor-General has time and time again lamented the poor governance at municipal level. Now, the Cooperative Governance is sending experts to help these struggling municipalities. Let's find out more from the Minister herself. A very good morning to you, Minister Nkadimeng. Welcome to the SA Morning. I'm sure you are also in the midst of pulling your hair out when you look at what's happening in various municipalities, dysfunction within the coalitions. But it's quite clear, I mean, since 2021, the 2021 elections, about 70 or so councils, not one of them actually had a full majority. So it became inevitable that coalitions would become the order of the day. And we are seeing that increasingly. But it also looks like many of these coalitions are just not working. What type of interventions are you as COGTA putting in place to get this train back on track?
Thank you very much, Tammy. You know, there is a correlation, and we could discuss it some other time. There's a direct correlation between instability and lack of delivery. And I often cite the case of Nelson Mandela Bay in the past term of 2016 and 2021, where they had the money allocated from the fiscus, and they had beneficiaries who were supposed to get houses, RDP houses as we commonly call them, but they didn't build a single one, simply because council will not approve or agree on a location. Mayor A will do this, and there's been a total of about 6 or so mayors in that past term. And remember, a term in South Africa is just 5 years. So which means on average, you will have a mayor or an executive which runs for about 12 months and still start to plan, and there's a motion and it gets removed. I mean, you have just been citing now the changes in the city of Johannesburg. We're only almost halfway through to our local government term, which we all know was elected in November 2021. So it's not only on coalitions where you see there is instability in council, delivery of services becomes a challenge because council does not sit. And that's what led to us enacting a code of conduct on how to regulate councillors as they sit inside a council room and a council chamber, how they should behave themselves and why are they supposed to ensure that delivery is about services to the people. But we are looking beyond the code of conduct on legislating the coalitions themselves and close the policy gaps. For example, if you are elected mayor in a coalition, your agreement must be publicized to those people so that they can hold you accountable. But do we limit the number of motion of no confidence to the reasoning that the report must be tabled in council, and at least it must meet 2 or 3 of major requirements of the law. You are not accountable, maybe you have been found guilty on maladministration, corruption or any other. We all know that is a violation of the law. You are not performing your services as per what the law says. You are not bringing the report to council. The reports are not efficient and are not proving a point that you are working. A motion can then come in such instances and areas, but not on the basis of slightest provocation and changes that seem to be happening today. It's a fact that our coalitions are not structured mainly on citizens' charter, caring about the people that they're servicing, but rather more political parties aligning themselves and strengthening themselves and sharing what are the areas and responsibilities which carries more budget, which we say it's a violation for councillors to interfere in such areas because they are properly aligned to be dealt with by administration.
And on that very note, Minister, you're speaking about the political instability, which then inevitably ends up affecting the work that actually needs to be done, the administrative part of actually running a municipality. That gets affected because of the instability in the politics. What measures are you going to put in place to make sure that that does not happen? Because it's the administrators who are doing the work. It is the administrators that actually ought to be remaining in their posts for follow-through and delivery. But if the administrator's performance and even presence is dependent upon, political parties and the wranglings within political parties, we're going to continue finding ourselves in situations like this.
And we are doing the overall review of local government systems. Remember that the line between politics or public representation and administration sits at the municipal level in one room in council. If you are a municipal manager, I am the mayor who has interviewed you and has led the report for council to hire you. And I am the mayor who will lead the report to council that you must be removed to the same house. So the checks and balances are not necessarily very broad and clearly outlined, which is one area which we are doing, but also separating the powers and actually reducing on what needs to be happening in terms of the law. Let's say you are appointed as a municipal manager, you have your plan aligned. If councillors don't sit and pass the budget, you can't work. And if you do, they will charge you. Because you need to get authority from them by them passing a resolution which mandates you as a MM to start working according to the plan that they've approved. So if you are a MM and council has not adopted the IDP, they are fighting as councillors. You can't work. You hold the money in the account, but you can't use it. If you use it, you are insubordinate. So you've got to clear all those things and ensure that it empowers and separates council and administration to be able to do the job. But we are not waiting for that to happen. What does the law allow us in the interim to do? It says national and provincial can be able to implement service delivery projects on behalf of municipalities. It's called Schedule 6B. It's supported by DORA, which is our Division of Revenue Act, Section 20, to say it is incorrect for communities to be part of a system that arrests them and they don't get services. And we're currently in about 40 municipalities delivering the same services on behalf of council, while we are fixing and ensuring that we entrench the code of conduct on the side of councillors. We ensure performance management systems are in place on the side of administration so that the two could be able to push the municipality forward. We are in depth with regard to capacity development as well. We have placed experts into all those municipalities to ensure them with regard to repairs of maintenance and repairs of infrastructure, maintenance planning prior the budgets are being received, but also extending the skill to all those who are in the municipal employed to be able to do what they are supposed to do. It's quite a busy space, but what we are trying to do is to turn the corner towards service delivery for the citizens, but also to ensure that the policy gaps are closed. And that is why the Code of Conduct last month was passed through and enacted, and all. We're currently running 2 cases actually in the city of Tshwane and the city of Thekwini, where councillors openly violated the Code of Conduct.
What are your plans for the city of Johannesburg?
Well, look, the plans for the city, like any other, I mean, there's no mayor in Nelson Mandela Bay. There's a motion today, if not tomorrow, for the mayor of the city of Nelson Mandela Bay. We have got teams, water affairs, ourselves, human settlement, as I'm saying, through Section 20. Then we've got an administrating team that assists the municipality to be able to operate. The law is very clear that the systems and the fiduciary responsibility of council lies with councillors. The minister or anybody else can't do anything, but I can replace to deliver services, which is what I've already done. Section 63 is in effect. Minister Mkunu is running water on behalf of Nelson Mandela Bay. We have actually been giving them a go-ahead now to be able to run things themselves. We'll assess again on the basis of the motion of no confidence. That's what the law allows us to do.
I'm asking specifically, Minister, about the city of Johannesburg, because there also have been calls for national government to actually step in to the affairs of the running of the municipality.
I've received that memorandum yesterday, Tammy. I've received that memorandum yesterday, or rather on Tuesday, from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. We're going through it. We will look into all the areas we are constantly observing on what is happening in the city of Johannesburg. Currently, it is a leadership, executive level leadership, which council have got to replace their speaker, assess their mayor. That's the responsibility lies with them. The responsibility of functions, we have got mechanisms on how we could enhance the systems and the functions of what is happening. We're doing the same in the city of Tegwini. We're doing the same in Mangaung and all the metros and all the municipalities. The same will happen in the city of
on the table, Minister, because this memorandum or this request that came from the city of Johannesburg actually predates the removal of the former speaker, Colleen Maluleke. Because what has transpired with Colleen Maluleke is just a few days ago, but this is a long-standing complaint that the city of Johannesburg has had. And your answer now speaks exclusively to the replacement of the speaker. But I'd like to put it forward that the problems that the city of Johannesburg is experiencing right now are actually over and above the replacement of a speaker.
No, Tammy. The memorandum that got to our office via the office of the president was only received this week. On our day-to-day functioning as a department, we assess municipalities together and jointly with National Treasury. There are areas of the law which allows us on what we could do. And those are clearly with regard to service delivery, right? Enhancement. And I'm saying to you, and not yesterday, teams of COCTA, both provincial and national, are assisting in the city of Johannesburg. That's what the law allows us to do. It doesn't allow us to run council on behalf of councillors, because that's a fiduciary responsibility of council assigned by the Constitution. But it allows us two areas. Section 154, support a municipality, which is what we're doing. Section 139, put the municipality under administration. The call that has landed into the president this week was dissolve the city of Johannesburg. That needs an assessment by us to go to cabinet, and it can only be that body which takes a decision to dissolve. But in terms of intervention, Premier Panyaza has been intervening, mandated by the law. We've been intervening ourselves, mandated by the law. We take serious regard to metros, because about 49% of our population of South Africa resides in the 8 metros. So we have got a permanent presence. But do you know, for example, that the law still says, even if I've written a report, I must take it to the council for them to approve it so that it can be implemented. And it does take a while for it, because they can't govern themselves. So even the municipal manager report goes through the same hurdles. But we are utilizing the law to implement their IDP on their behalf while there is still instability. And that is why the overall policy gap of coalition that we are putting into the table, not only for the city of Johannesburg, but to manage coalitions everywhere else.
And we're going to have to leave it at that for this morning, Minister Nkadimeng. Thank you so much for the time. We'll certainly be